So let me share 3 mistakes to avoid anytime you do a fix and flip. This is something, guys, we have done over and over here at Whiteacre when we started. It's something I keep in mind now as we grow the company and we're doing more and more flips. But these 3 things are super important. One is underestimating the timeline it's going to take you to do the rehab. Initially, when I started, I thought everything was only going to take 3 months, and it ended up taking 6 or 8 months. And the reason why that is important, twofold. One is your holding cost. Selling a property in 3 months, obviously your holding costs are going to be way less than if you're going to take 6, 8, or 12 months, right? Because you got monthly charges every month. You got your mortgage payment to your lender, you got your property taxes, you got your utilities, and you got your insurance. So these are monthly charges that the longer you keep the property, the more you're going to spend on this, and that's pretty much going to shrink your profits. So try to estimate correctly. Our flips right now are taking anywhere from 5 to 8 months, and I would say average is 6 months. So it's never a 3 months unless it's really clean up the property, a wholesale type of project where we clean up, paint, and we list within, let's say, 3 weeks or something. Number 2, overdoing the rehab. This happened to me initially quite a bit because I was going in and renovating the property according to my standards, right? If me and my wife and the kids came in here, how I would renovate the property, and that's actually not the way to do it. Nobody cares about how I want to live or how nicely I want to finish the property. You got to renovate based on what's going on in the neighborhood and looking at your comparable sales again and seeing what are the finishes on those houses. The way we renovate a condo in Boston compared to what we do here in Hopkinton as far as the level of finishes, totally different ball game. Not only that, but from Hopkinton to our property in Sudbury that is in the market, totally different also finishes and finished product because it's totally different markets, and we're only about 20 minutes away. So you got to keep that in mind. Look at your comparable sales in the neighborhood and look at the finishes that the houses have. You don't want to overdo it, because if you overdo it, you're going to spend more money that you'll never capture back, and basically by doing that you are shrinking your profit. In this case here, we're not going crazy with the kitchen cabinets. We're just going with something that looks nice but is fairly basic. It's Whiteacre cabinets. We're doing granite countertops. We're really not even going to spend money on quartz because it's not necessary. Yes, it's going to be beautiful if we have quartz countertops, but the buyer is really not going to pay us more money for that, right? So keep in mind that anything you spend, you want to make sure that the perceived value is high, but it doesn't cost you a ton. So that's usually my motto. The perceived value got to be high, so that the lights and the faucets and things like that might look fancy, but they're really nothing extravagant. So keep that in mind when you're renovating. Don't overdo your project. Look at your comps and renovate based on what the demand is in the neighborhood. Third point is speculating the ARV, speculating the after repair value. You got to be careful with that. I see a lot of people try to work a deal, especially in this market. They want to buy a property, they want to do a fix and flip so bad that when they look at the after repair value, which is another comparable sale that you're going to find that's sold in the neighborhood, let's say in the last 6 months, that looks exactly like this particular house is going to look like at the end, right? So that's after repair value. That's exactly it. So go back as long as 12 months, but see if you can find one that you can use, right? In this case, we got lucky. 2 doors down, a property sold a couple months back, so it's perfect because it's a property that's on the same street and sold a couple months back, so it's a very recent sale and was a very similar style to this property. And so that property sold for $560,000, and that's the number I'm using for my ARV. And I can get aggressive and I can say, well, if that property sold for 560, mine will sell for 600 because it's going to be all new, and I don't want to do that because again, that's what the market is showing me, that a property is selling for 560, even if it's a little outdated, but was turnkey, was clean, the kitchen was nice. So I'm using that 560 as my ARV, as my exit number. So don't speculate on the ARV. Don't think that your house is going to be the best comp in the neighborhood, or you're going to set a new standard. You don't want to go by that. If that happens, great. It happens to us all the time, that we take an ARV of, in this case, 560, and this house might sell for 600, but let that be a nice surprise to us. Let that be really the upside that we hadn't planned for, instead of being surprised in a negative way, where, you know, the house will sell for let's say 530 or something. So don't over speculate the ARV. Stick with the numbers of whatever you find in the neighborhood. Don't make a deal work just because you really want to do a fix and flip, because if you're trying to work that number to really just buy the property and you're changing it, it's really a strategy for disaster. So stick by the ARV and you'll be successful. Guys, if you think this is good stuff that you are enjoying and you learning from, share, like, subscribe. It's really gonna help me out to push this to a lot more people. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.